How do you become a wedding content creator? You may have seen wedding content creation popping up on your Instagram or your TikTok timeline. Yeah. Mine too. First and foremost, you might be like, what the heck is this? Maybe you've seen some of your favorite bridal publications talking about wedding content creation. So what does being a wedding content creator mean? And how did I become one? Well, stick around because that is what we are gonna be talking about in today's video. Hey y'all, what is up? My name is Laura here with Plan with Laura. In today's video, I'm gonna be talking to you about my journey to becoming a wedding content creator. Specifically, I'm gonna give you some information about my background. I'm gonna give you all the history of what events and wedding content creation has looked like. And then I'm gonna talk to you about what I do now as a wedding content creator and how I like to personalize and work with every single one of my clients. In my last video, I talked all about what wedding content creation is and kind of like the hype around why we're seeing it right now. But let's go back to the past and talk about the fact that live events content creation has been around for a while, but we're just seeing it packaged very, very differently. Let's think back to Twitter. Now, Twitter is like still a platform that's around and that we use heavily today. It's still a very popular social media platform. At what the height of Twitter and like what made Twitter revolutionary is that you could be sitting at a conference, you could be sitting at a coffee shop, you could be sitting at your home and just what was ever on your mind, you just put it out into the universe. And that's really when I start to think about the inception and the start of events content creation, specifically in the professional realm. So I think a lot of people would go to these events and they would be live tweeting quotes that they heard from speakers or pictures of them in the audience. And it became a way for people who were attending the conference to really connect with other people who were there, but then also showcase what they were doing. I think fast forward a little bit and then we started to introduce the element of live streaming. Then it was not only the people who were in attendance could partake in the events that were happening, but then people who were at home were able to go ahead and live stream into events as well. And then I think from live streaming, then we added the element of having live comments going on and people responding to those comments. And I think that's a lot when organizations and individuals really started to see this industry blossom and grow and kind of explode, which leads into how did I get my start in live events and wedding content creation? Well, just as I said that companies started live tweeting their events, they started hiring people to do that. And so when I worked at the Fortune 500 company, I was actually an employee there, and part of my job was to go and attend events and do live tweeting from the events, from the corporate main Twitter account. And from there is really where I started to fall in love first with events and like really started to fall in love with like the very type A-ness and the lots of the planning that went behind when it came to like corporate marketing and corporate events. But then also to this element of being able to be somewhere, not just somewhere, a conference. And anyone who's attended like a corporate conference knows you have like 4 speakers on 4 different stages and you're usually in multiple different ballrooms and you're having to pick what's the most important to capture, but how can we make sure that we have a little bit of everything? And when I was doing that is when I fell in love with events. I love the high pacedness, wow, is that a word? I love the high pace, I love the intensity. I also kind of like a little bit of the stress that goes along with it, but being able to make those decisions in real time and also being able to discern how do you go ahead and get the best type of content? How are we capturing that? But not only just capturing it, but then using that to create and tell more stories. So that's where I got my start. And as events and the social media landscape started to morph and started to change, and as also my personal passions and my business started to morph and started to change, I left my corporate job. I started working for myself full-time as a content creator. And since 2019, I've been able to create a community of over 80,000 people across 3 different platforms, really leaning into photo and video content. I still had an itch and I still had a love for event planning. Then I started getting some knocks on my door from conferences who saw and who were impressed by the type of social media content that I was creating for myself and asked if I would be able to go ahead and do that for them. And so I did. I think part of the beauty when it comes to live events and wedding content creation is not just being able to do the skill that you're asked, which is to take these photos and take these videos, but also really immerse yourself in any project that you're working on. And so as I started working on project for these conferences, then they asked me to go ahead and start doing live documentation of these conferences for their Facebook pages and for their Instagram. Because again, when you are planning an event, you are so worried about the vendors and all the little details that are going on behind it. And also you want to be present there. You want to be able to experience this thing that you've been planning for years. And also you want to be in the pictures and the videos. You don't just want to be the one who's taking it. And I'm really thankful for those first couple of conferences that really believed in me, because they really just let me run with my ideas. And because the events were at such a high scale and such a large scale, and there were so many different and moving parts, I think it really prepared me for weddings, which is kind of like the main area. I still do a couple of conferences every single year because I promise myself I will always be a lifelong learner. I will always be someone who is up for a challenge and wanting to learn the best practices and how I can become better. Then my friends and acquaintances started to go ahead and get married, and so then I started to do them for weddings. So I had done weddings beforehand, but I won't lie to you. I promise, I will never lie to y'all. I did not see the true value and the true purpose. I did not feel the passion that I feel now until it came down to my wedding. So like I said, I had gone ahead and quit my corporate job. I started building out my own team, and I actually had 2 members from my team go ahead and shoot my wedding. Now, because I had shot weddings beforehand, I had some templates and guides that I was already using, but then being a bride, understanding the details, working with every single one of my vendors, and y'all, I still had a planner, but I was very type A and involved in my wedding. That's when it all clicked. That's when all of the guides got a facelift. That's when I understood the true power and truly why wedding content creation is so special. Because when I think back to my wedding, I think back to all of the photos and videos. I think back to the same day edits. I think back to the fact that I was able to do one thing at my wedding, yet something else was captured. And truly, I think back to being able to wake up the next morning, to still be on cloud 9 from all of the excitement, waking up, being married for this first time, and also having a full folder and drive on my phone with all of these photos and videos. And for someone who does love social media, for someone who does use social media every single day in their business, to also have a full Instagram highlight, to have TikTok videos ready to go, and to be able to not have to worry or even think about that. That is when it all clicked. That is when I saw the true power in it. That is when I saw what this industry truly could be. And that is when I decided that I really wanted to be a pioneer in this industry and make this something that we were bringing to weddings, and make this something that if couples wanted it, they were able to go ahead and get it. Up until this point, like I'd said, we had shot some weddings, but we'd really only done it through word of mouth. I had not done any sort of marketing or talking about it. But while I was planning my wedding, I did build a following on TikTok, and that is when I released my first video about wedding content creation. That went viral, and the rest is history. And now we're here, and we love it. And now, even though my team has grown, the mission and the vision and the passion that started it all still will always be what propels us forward. I literally have the best job in the world. I get to go and hang out with people on their most special days. And when it comes to working with me, I really like to call myself a full service vendor, because I remembered when I was getting married, there is so much confusion, there's so much conflicting information out there. So when I work with my clients, my team only takes a limited amount of weddings every single year. And that is because every single client that we work with, number one, we create a custom guide for their wedding, depending on the specifications that they're looking for, depending on what we're shooting, what we're covering, and what that is. So as a part of my package, do planning calls with my couples, and that is just to allow them to go ahead and have time to talk to a wedding professional. Now, I'm not a planner, I'm not a coordinator, but I have attended a lot of different weddings. I have worked with, I feel like, almost every single timeline in the world. And I've learned a lot of industry tips and tricks along the way. I feel like I have literally seen it all. And I dedicate a huge portion of my online platform, especially over on TikTok and Instagram, to talk about these tips and tricks that I am literally learning while I am shooting weddings in real time, so that people can take those and implement them into their own timelines, or that people can take those and implement them as a part of their wedding planning process. But I'm not just the type of vendor who's gonna show up on your day and deliver a product for you. I'm a vendor who you're probably gonna spend the majority of your day with, and I wanna be someone that you trust. I wanna be someone that you feel connected with, and I'm able to do that because from the moment that you book me till your wedding, I always say you can't get rid of me, We're gonna be talking, we're gonna be chatting. I absolutely love it. A lot of my couples go ahead and send me their save the dates. They send me their invitations. I was on the phone literally yesterday talking to one of my brides as she was trying to pick out her veil, and I was like, okay, FaceTime me, show me this veil versus this veil. Like, I wanna be a part of that process with you, and it's something that I really pride myself on being able to do for the couples that I work with. And so that's me and a little bit of history on how I got to where I am. Like I said, I absolutely love it here. We're getting to shoot the most amazing weddings and work with the most amazing clients. Sharing part of this journey definitely feels a little bit vulnerable, especially as the industry is so new and it's still growing. I firmly believe that you are only as good as the people that you bring along your journey with you. And so now you are here going along on that journey with me. Let me know if there's anything in particular that you want to see, and I will go ahead and see you guys here in my next video. As always, my name is Laura here with Playing with Laura, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.